Hey guys, Artosis here with the CasterMuse Narak Star League. We are in the round of 8, and this is going to be a best of 5 between BishOp, our last remaining Terran player, and HM, our Zerg player, one of many in this round of 8. This is game number 1, and it is on Polypoid. I gotta say, it's kind of an interesting and exciting thing. Let me go over these players first somewhat. HM, he's been an up-and-coming Zerg for quite some time. He plays very well. Everyone, all the pros know him. He's a very, very high-level Zerg. But I think this is really his best placement in a pretty major tournament so far. His opponent, BishOp. BishOp is a bit more well-known, I think, overall. This guy has been one of the strongest, I guess, considered amateur Terrans for quite some time. But actually, he was the first player to switch over at the pro level to random. It wasn't Flash. It was actually BishOp did it over a year before Flash. Before Flash was even talking about it, I think. And he actually made it as far as the finals of an ASL qualifier. So that's pretty damn good. But more recently, he has gone back to just playing Terran. And it seems like he's doing pretty darn well with it. So I'm wondering if maybe that little stint as a random player kind of helped him out, made him a bit stronger overall with his Terran. Well, I guess we'll end up seeing here to make the top 8. He's the only Terran that has done so. Is very, very impressive. In fact, not many Terrans really. Well, no, I guess there was a decent amount that made it into the round 16. I believe 5 made it in or so. It was a lot of Zerg players ended up there, but he was the only one that advanced out of those. So I hope he carries the Terran flag well. Now, this is a pretty quick spawning pool going down, but he is going to scout this first. Of course, the map being Polypoid, it is a 4-player map. The drone going cross-scout here for HM, so he's going to know that he is going to be up at that top spot. But the SCV getting in immediately will tell him what he needs to know. There's going to be 6 Zerglings on the way, so probably what we're going to see from BishOp here is SCVs being pulled to the ramp. He's probably going to need to... Like, is he going to start a bunker? He is going to start a bunker. I guess since this SCV is tracking the Zergling movement, he's like, okay, look at how he's microing here. This is so important. He's slowing those lings, and even a half second makes a big difference. So he slows the lings a little bit. It's gonna, yeah, I was gonna say he has to pull at least 4 SCVs really here to fight. Let's see what HM does. Like, HM might dive past the bunk because it only has 1 Marine in it. You can tell when you run past. But now with the Marine plus 4 SCVs on the ramp, yeah, some nice micro out of BishOp. But HM actually with some good micro himself. He gets through the wall. Doesn't kill any SCVs yet, but does get the 1 Marine, gets into the main base. But overall, you have to look at this and say this is better for BishOp. Losing no SCVs, and he is going to be able to clear up these Zerglings. He's already got a bunker down, so he's going to feel very safe against later incoming attacks. And he's just making his command center. So, yeah, definitely do like this for our Terran player thus far. HM, though, running around with these Zerglings, seeing if he maybe can pick up an SCV kill or 2, cause some lost mining time. You know, anything like that is going to be nice. But, of course, they're not going to get much more done. You saw BishOp's control already, looking very strong in that regard. Oh, some nice juking and jiving, gets by. But let's go look at what else is happening on this map right now. So gas is being mined. He will be going up into lair, I'm sure. His natural hatchery is done. He's actually made a 3rd base way off across the map. We do not have a scouting SCV on the map right now for BishOp. That's definitely something he's going to want to do, though. He has very little intel as to what's going on. But he's going for the 1 barracks production. He's going directly into Academy and gas, which is very normal against this type of play, adding the barracks a little bit afterwards. Looking over at HM. Yeah, just making some Zerglings, going into the lair. Of course, his lair is going to be finishing pretty late overall, especially with that 3rd hatch out. The SCV coming out to scout now. Of course, between the Zergling and Overlord, he knows that there's an SCV out here looking to see what's going on. A couple more lings coming back. Might want to block his ramp there to deny information. Okay, comes up. He's trying to micro really heavily here. Oh, the drone going to try to block. I don't know if he's going to, though. Yeah, definitely a mistake there. I think it's worthwhile to block this with a drone or to even sit 2 lings there, because now he actually sees that the lair is making. He sees that there's only 2 hatches, And that should make him question, where is the other hatch? You wouldn't have only 2 hatches right now, unless you were literally making nothing but Zerglings, right? So, and notice he's in a very anti-Zergling stance here. He's not entirely sure. He knows that there's something missing. He hasn't seen enough Lings. He hasn't seen enough hatches, so it's one or the other. Okay, taking a look. We don't have the eBay yet. I think he'll start it here. There it is. Stim is about 3/4 done. He has a fire bat out, 8 Marines, a medic. This is definitely plenty, but it looks like he's going to wait for another medic here to pop out and then probably move forward. Now, if he attacks directly across, well, certainly he can force some sunken colonies. There's no doubt about that, but he could probably kill this base as well. I just heard a scan. Okay, the scan went down to the natural, and he sees the morphing sunken. That's some intel, right? So he knows that, like, okay, he's on to me, that I'm going to be moving out pretty soon. Range on the way for BishOp. A 3rd medic. More Marines being produced. All right, time to move. Moving out pretty late here. The Spire is going to be finishing. I feel like he missed a move out timing a little bit, but I think actually what's occurred here is that BishOp read this as a mass Zergling strategy. Remember, he built the depot here. He had 3 SCVs in front on hold position. Now he's gone up to 3 medics, 2 fire bats. And this could kill like 1,000,000 Zerglings. But against 7 mutas coming out and a 3rd base already up, this is not anywhere near as strong. So it seems like maybe HM won the mind game slightly in the mid game here. Even though the opening was a bit better for BishOp, what he's prepped with here is completely unneeded and over the top. So now some turrets are being produced. Factory is on the way with very good timing. Yeah, this BishOp's position is still good. It's not like he's fallen like far behind or something, but he maybe had, I guess what I'm trying to say is he had a position where it was likely that he could punish if he figured out what was going on, but of course, StarCraft is a game of incomplete information, and it's incredibly hard to do that. All right, here comes the group of mutas. Let's take a look and see this army he does have the range upgrade, so that's really, really good. He actually doesn't have +1. He hasn't started +1, so that's kind of, I think BishOp made a bit of a mistake there. Unless he's planning a very fast siege tank push. That is a possibility. I think he would still get +1. But it could be that. Let's see if he gets the add-on onto his factory. Like, I could see you cutting things for that, but we don't see it. We see the 2nd gas coming up. Yeah, definitely a big mistake that he didn't start +1. I'm sure he'll kick himself when he notices that. Now, another group of Marines and medics going towards the natural here. This group getting shaved down. HM does a wonderful job killing that off. Really, I don't think he even lost any mutas, honestly. So BishOp now losing a chunk of units. Huh. Suddenly looking at this. Hive on the way. +1 just started. Like, again, BishOp's not dead. Like, he's still okay. He's got 44 SCVs. He's got good defense at home and everything. But now he's losing even more Marines and medics. He hasn't done any real damage since the initial 9 pool. Oh, his 2nd starport actually didn't start. It looks like when you see 2 SCVs here and 1 sitting under the factory, that means he got blocked when he tried to start the second starport. So definitely an ouchie right there. So science facility starts here will be the 2nd starport. Yeah, enough things have gone wrong that I think HM is totally fine here. I think this is going to turn into quite a nice game. Lurkers on the way. He's not going to be able to get across the map to do any damage against HM. HM adds a few more mutas into the fray. So he has 11 mutas total right now. Yeah, we're going to want to see those add-ons coming up pretty quickly. Very solid economy, though, right? Like, it's... BishOp is going to be able to support the 5 barracks. In fact, he could add a couple more barracks very easily here. He can get his science vessels going very cleanly. He can go double eBay upgrades, although +1 should have already been done by now. A little bit painful there. He can get his 4th CC. Yeah, he's got like 0 damage has happened to his economy this game, and you can really see that reflected in how clean his build is becoming. But yeah, he's a little bit behind on upgrades. He hasn't done any real damage yet, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. The one thing he's going to want to watch out for is the possible fourth base coming up for HM after Defilers are ready. Like, if HM just floods Lurker Defiler for a little bit and tries to take that fourth, I think that's going to be a very good position for him. Because that fourth base is going to be very far away, hard for BishOp to deal with. Like, how do you actually end up breaking that? Maybe he tries some dropship play or something like that. Okay. Vessels on the way. Is adding another rack, so going up to 6 barracks right now. Has double engineering bay, so he can start to get into 2-1 pretty quickly here. We have Consume coming up for our Defilers. Lots of Lurkers being created right next to this Nidus. Of course, he'll probably need some on this ramp. Has one morphing over here as well. A couple more lurker eggs. Notice how he puts the lurker eggs right next to the hatchery. That's if you're looking quickly, you'll think that, like, for instance, this is just drones or something being made as opposed to lurkers. So, very cutesy move right there. Ultralisk Cavern is coming. Okay, but the one thing I want to see from HM is getting that very important fourth gas before he really starts. It's okay to get the den, get the upgrades flowing, but I don't think he needs them quite yet. Quite yet. All right, the Muta's flying away. Fourth CC is being made. Still very defensive. Some well-placed turrets here. Leaving a little bit of Marine Medic up here to deal with those Mutas if they do counterattack. It's very common to counterattack as Terran is moving out if you have lurkers already. Look at that. 4 stacked lurkers right there. That is craziness. A lot of Defilers being made. Lots of macro hatches. I like how HM has done this game. Like, the 9 pool didn't end up doing anything, but other than that, like, I think he's made some very good moves. All right, Ultralisk Cavern is finishing up. Here comes some Defiler and Defiler food. Vessels come up. Throw down that Irradiate onto a lurker. Actually hits the Muta. Maybe a misclick there. Flying a Muta over the lurker does make it very hard to irradiate. Definitely want to irradiate Defilers first, though, if possible. All right, well, the Dark Storms go down, so he does have to walk back, and it's time to take that fourth base. But I like how he kept a group over here. Oh, my God, he actually goes to the ramp. No Dark Storm here. Picks off that Defiler, which means that this base cannot be taken quite yet. Definitely has to reinforce it a little bit. BishOp starting to get out on the map, adding some barracks here as well. A lot of Lings being added in. +2 carapace as well as +1 melee coming up for HM. He throws down this hatchery under the Dark Swarm. Not that the Dark Swarm helps the hatchery in any way, but obviously nice to have there. Plague is just about done. Another Dark Swarm goes down. Gonna be throwing down a Plague here as well. Comes forward. All right, not the best Plague in the whole world, but still something. Did throw down an extra Dark Storm, so he has this okay for a little bit more. Throwing out some more Defilers to go in. Notice the Muta's sitting back defensively for anti-drop play. Marines being spread out into some other bases. A nice little spread here in case any counterattacks come as well. And this is the part of the game where it's basically non-stop irradiates and trying to contain Zerg. You want to bust this base. It's incredibly important. And here we go. Stims forward, takes out the only lurker remaining here. Another Darkstorm goes down, so it looks like the hatchery will be saved once again. And that's about as late as you can be to that defense as HM. You must hold this base. The game right now is very much about this base. If BishOp can knock it out, he gets a huge advantage. If not, the game continues forward and HM, you know, starts to make ultras, basically. Now, we do have that chitinous plating just about done. We also have Defiler energy coming, so he can store both a Plague and a Dark Swarm. A lot of vessels out right now. Such a beautiful, juicy Plague target. All right, only one lurker under that Dark Storm right now. More coming down. He might be able to break right now. We don't... Okay, there is the Defiler. If he can stop this Defiler, it is going to be amazing for him. Comes forward under the Dark Storm still, utilizing those Fire Bats, which do deal some damage, but, like, he's not getting that much done. Okay, here come the Fire Bats now. Beautiful Fire Bat usage here to try to break the very Lurker light Dark Storm, and in fact, he does. No Lurkers left over. Fire Bats underneath can kill off that Defiler. And he is going to get to the ramp, deny anything else from coming down into the Dark Storm. And that means this fourth base is going to get cleaned up. A beautiful break going down right there from BishOp. He has so many science vessels right now. And look, back at home, he has his mineral base up. He has another gas expansion, although not mining from it yet. A ton of barracks. BC Tech with BCs on the way. BishOp in a fantastic position now after busting that fourth base. HM going to run. He is going to get out of here. ArtosisCasts, well, I guess he is being pretty slow about getting through there, so we'll get some kills still against those drones trying to get out. Couple Scourge coming over to clean this up. But yeah, the advantage clearly goes to BishOp right now. He brings up a bunch of his Marines and medics. 2-1 upgrades are done. We should have 4 carapace now, rather, for the Ultras, so pretty even as far as upgrades go. 3-2 is on the way for our bio player, and that additional carapace upgrade on the way for HM as well. So some good irradiates going down, losing a few vessels now finally. Important moves there for HM. More fire bats being added in here as well. Taking a look. Like, he's still got this. I love this group sitting here. It's nice and spread so Plague can't just completely destroy it. It kind of catches small counterattacks, gives you some warning if they're trying to do Defiler push. Few Marines left in the middle here because sometimes Zerg will try to sneak that. In the meantime, the rest of his units coming up to this third base. He's trying to break through. And honestly, he doesn't even have to kill the third base. If he just continually denies and slows down this base, that's going to be all he needs to do because the gases will end up mining out, right? We have 1,000 gas here left. 1,700 left here. So he just needs to hold on for a few more minutes, and eventually Zerg is going to start to run dry. With that Ultra getting picked off with that Irradiate with just 1 health left over. Another Eraser play going down, but he did get Burrow. Nicely done from HM. Trying to deny that massive Eraser. The Lurkers here. Yeah, getting pushed back. I think BishOp's just about done it. There's not a lot left over for HM. Like, he's still got enough supply that he can kind of fight. But he's really not even mining. He's having a hard time holding on to this location. I think, honestly, he went into Ultra a little bit too quickly here. You know, I think you really need to flood Lurker Defiler for a bit to really hold on to your fourth base. He just didn't have enough Defilers, didn't have enough Lurkers. Pulled off that wave of Fire Bats, maybe a little bit too greedy. And now BishOp just running the map. A BC coming down as well. Already highly taxed on his gas. Going to be hard to get enough Scourge to take this out. Looks like the reinforcing bio as well. Going to go after these Ultras. Not that many left. Ooh, down goes a Darkstorm. That definitely can help. Of course, BC doesn't do anything under the Darkstorm as well. Looks like we're looking maybe for a Plague. No, another Darkstorm goes down. Yeah, Fire Bats against a Radiated Ultralisk under Darkstorm. This is not something I want to see. Ah! And a lot of Lings here. I mean, it seems like he's just going to get flooded. He's 100 supply down right now without that fourth gas. He's trying to sneak this 6 o'clock expansion. But BishOp continues to just rally across the map, being somewhat efficient with 4 bases. I mean, this is a scary thing to face as a Zerg player. And with these BCs continuing to come up, this small amount of Scourge, of course, not going to do anything here. Scourge get one-shotted by BCs. Nice dodging right there from BishOp. A Spore is down. They don't really want to fight that. It takes a long time to end up killing a Spore. The units just continually coming across the map. It's almost like the Zerg player is BishOp here. How many barracks is he even on? 10? 3, 6, 10, 11 racks, 2 port. Even could afford another port or 2 as well, to be honest. All right, well, the Scourge come up. He does throw a D-Matrix down here. Plague, though, doesn't care about that too much. Actually, I've never seen this before. D-Matrix on a Plagued BC does not help it, but a D-Matrix on an Irradiated unit helps it. Okay, that's it. GG. BishOp wins game number 1.